Hey, what's up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? What's good, Venom? Yes, indeed, y'all. We in here. Hit that like button and get ready for the live. Yes, this is definitely late night. You know, the moon's still out pretty good. I think it's been a full moon, so why not? But yeah, we definitely live. I had forgot to reschedule. Yeah, I had forgot to reschedule the other night. I wasn't feeling good, so that was kind of that deal. But dang, I was like, oh, I forgot to reschedule. But y'all see the wolf avatar. Y'all know what it's all about. And you see the name, Rhea Wolf, kind of like Beowulf, the movie that happened in 2007, as well as the poem called Beowulf. So, Rhea Wolf. Hey, Ray a Wolf, get it? Ray a Wolf. Yeah, big bad wolf, too. Nah, I ain't really that bad. Nah. But this ties in sort of with what I want to talk about in regards to the Sigma identity crisis. Well, my finale and my final thoughts on the whole topic is there's definitely still a crisis and it's going to go on for quite some time, but I think people who know truly about this idea of being similar to the wolf, if you will, you kind of know the best direction you need to go in. Some going to want to still use the designation of Sigma, and some people don't want to be identified as Sigma. And I believe it's because of what we do see out here. We have a lot of individuals that they didn't have certain qualities that one would say is a Sigma, but they do believe that they became a Sigma. So since from my perspective, there's a lot of people that claim they became Sigma versus being born Sigma. I was to the point of where I was just like, forget it. They can have the terminology of Sigma, those who became Sigma. Because I guess if one kind of see the way that I operate, you kind of get an idea of the way I talk, the way I walk, my type of personality. Yeah, some people would automatically say that I'm Sigma, but I tend to bend the line a little bit. I don't want to necessarily say 100% that I'm Sigma. And no, I don't have an identity crisis with Sigma. So that's why I'm able to do this live stream so fluently. Okay. So just to give you an idea. Well, first and foremost, no notes from yours truly, just right off the top of the dome. Here we go. Well, like I said, it goes back to the born versus made argument about Sigma. And so they say that the most Sigma of the Sigmas don't even like to describe themselves as Sigma. They don't they don't accept the idea of Sigma. So some people would probably say, Ray, you fit under that category as probably a real Sigma because you don't like to associate yourself with being Sigma nor being labeled Sigma. Now, that may seem true. However, there's a spin to this. Yes, there's definitely a spin to all this conversation because um, for those who have been around me for a little bit, you know, um, you would also know that as of late, I've also been saying alpha. I haven't just been saying sigma. I've been saying alpha as well because I kind of see myself as alpha at times. And this has nothing to do with the wolf. The alpha has nothing to do with the wolf. The sigma has nothing to do with the wolf, even though a lot of people have tried to put these two in the conversation of what wolf behavior is. And I'm not going to go over that in this live stream. If you haven't checked that out, just go to my playlist that I've done on the title, on the topic, if you will, about all things wolf and all things sigma and lone wolf, I guess. So one of my playlists is titled I Am Lone Wolf 1.0, and then another one is titled I Am Lone Wolf 2.0. And I go into all the details of what I just said. But yeah, here we go. I just believe overall, um, those who are born solitary, like you've always been solitary since you was a young age, so you always exhibited more of a wolf-like type of a personality versus a dog-like personality. I believe that you're not sigma. I believe that you're actually beyond sigma. Excuse me right quick, y'all. All right, all right, all right, all right. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm back. You know, these later night live streams be kind of affecting my voice a little bit because you know you're kind of done for the day, and your voice just be like, "Oh, Ray, you need to rest." But here we go. I wanted to just really talk to y'all about this, so here I am. I don't care. But my thing is that I believe those who felt they were born Sigma, you're something else. I mean, I don't believe really in this idea of a born Sigma and a made Sigma. If I was really rocking the Sigma banner, I would say you're either Sigma or you're not. You cannot be made a Sigma. You can only be born a Sigma. That's what I would do if I was really rocking the Sigma banner like that. That's what I would say. But this causes an argument already within what we call Sigma because they start to feel, and I've had to deal with this before with certain content creators that used to be on YouTube talking about all things Sigma. They used to say, well, Ray, if you're going to believe that someone can only be born Sigma and they cannot be made Sigma, you sound like an elitist. You sound like you're trying to be over those other people. And I'm like, how am I trying to sound like I'm over people when this is like truly my personality? And you think that you can somehow become my personality? Just doesn't sound like it adds up. But the arguments are getting stronger. Not really arguments towards me, but just the argument about being made a Sigma is becoming stronger. That's what we're seeing. And I think that's kind of really where I decided to step back. And I said, hey, you guys can have the idea of Sigma because you do have a population of people out there who are just becoming more fertile, as I've said before. Those who may have come from other personality types, but they're still trying to find their way on their own. So I saw them as fertile, but they decided to still take on the idea of Sigma because they associated lone wolf with Sigma, even though I've already said before that lone wolf and Sigma are not the same. But that's kind of what has happened. So really this idea of lone wolf and Sigma did not really come from people that were actually Sigmas that were born Sigma per se themselves. It came from those who felt they became a Sigma. That's where the idea of lone wolf and Sigma together came from. You know what I'm saying? But those who were like born a certain way versus made a certain way, they always believe that the lone wolf is actually unique. He didn't get kicked out of the pack. Yeah, he didn't get kicked out of the pack. He walked away when it was his time. But see, it's that wolves are loners. It's not that there's a lone wolf. So the wolf is just walking away from the pack to walk amongst a civilization of dogs. So I take this really to a deeper level in regards to the Sigma identity crisis. Now, I actually want to add that. Yeah, I actually want to add that. I believe these Sigma people that became Sigma, I believe they found their identity. And I believe there's nothing anybody can do to stop it, even the ones that claim they were born Sigma. I don't think there's anything you can do to stop it. There's going to be a lot of people in this society that feel like they can relate to their perspective of lone wolf. Not the true perspective of lone wolf, but their perspective of lone wolf, which is the popular opinion about lone wolf. That's the unfortunate part for those who believe they were born this way being solitary. So that's why, like I said, I step back, and like I talked to on my last live stream with the top cast, I believe that those who want to separate themselves from Sigma, they should take on the identity of being an enigma, or just say enigma, if that makes sense. Because my thing is, something enigmatic. And I know he said, like, from his standpoint, enigmatic means mysterious. But see, I don't see enigmatic that way in regards to being an enigma. You're not trying to be mysterious. You just end up misunderstood. That's what it means to be an enigma. It's not that you are actually mysterious. You just end up misunderstood. You end up hard to figure out. That's the whole idea of being an enigma. Now, the Sigma, yeah, they're going to work on being more mysterious. They don't want to be as seen and as noticed as they once were in society back in the day when they were part of society back in the day. They want to be more away. They want to be more kind of in the shadows, if you will, but not in the way that Black Ram 313 has mentioned at his channel. Shout out to Black Ram 313. But just in the sense that they just kind of want to just be kind of under their own tunnel in their own alley. That's kind of what's going on right now, in my opinion, with everybody having their interpretation of Sigma. And like I said, I'm kind of to the point now where I'm beyond the title of being Sigma. Because see, being an enigma, you're beyond the labels anyway. Yeah, as an enigma, you're beyond the labels anyway. So that's why I now say enigma. I don't have a problem with those who claim they became Sigma saying Sigma, because there's just more of a majority of those type versus the type that were born technically Sigma. So the majority is going to always override the minority. So that's kind of what you do when you have a certain enigmatic way about you. You step away from the popular quotes, the popular opinions, the popular thought processes. You step away. You find a new way. You find a new path to carve. You find a way to see things differently. Not be too myopic in one direction. You find another direction, you see things. And I've talked about this before with a previous content creator that used to talk about all things Sigma. He was the one that felt he became Sigma versus me being born. But we came up with this idea of how to use acronym, how to use the myopic for acronym. And it basically means make your own path. But come to find out, a lot of people say make your own path, because to be myopic is to have kind of a tunnel vision. You see one way and that's the way you're determined to go. It's a little different than going your own way versus making your own path, you see. So that was kind of like what we were going to rock with. But there was still this clash and this conflict of the born Sigma versus the made Sigma. And really, when you think about it, you don't want to be like someone that's not like you. You want to be more like minded. Okay. The whole essence of what? A wolf pack? See what I'm saying? But like I said, I really see Sigma as feral, not as lone wolf. And it never was. Though a lot of people have attached this idea of Sigma with lone wolf, but lone wolf has never been Sigma at all. Uh, Never was, never will be. Okay. To be solitary by nature is totally different than being solitary by nurture. Being feral is being solitary by nurture. Basically, society or that environment or that landscape caused you somehow to end up by yourself and you had to figure out how to make it on your own. That's being feral. That's solitary by nurture. Solitary by nature is when you basically were made for all those different environments and you've been by yourself in all those different environments this whole time, ever since you were young. Nothing really put you out there by yourself. You never really had this issue of abandonment. But like I said, that's kind of in a nutshell what I wanted to bring up. But yeah, kind of going back to what I said earlier and before. My main thing about why I never fully adopted the term Sigma in today's times is because there was definitely some alpha about me still. Okay. You know what I'm saying? There was still some alpha about me, but not to even say that I feel more like an alpha male than a Sigma male. So just as I've kind of broke down my interpretation of Sigma, my interpretation of alpha, as y'all have known who've been at this channel, I don't see alpha as a personality. I see it as a position. So, uh, and alpha means leader. So anybody can be in that position of being a leader. Anybody can be in that position of being an alpha, basically. Now, some people are more for that position. Some people are more alpha than others. That happens. But that doesn't necessarily make you solely an alpha male. Okay. So there's that argument there, right? Because you could be easily made into a beta at any time. Somebody can knock you down off your throne. Then what? You're no longer the king. You're no longer the leader. You're no longer the alpha. So that's why I'm glad I've never had that label put upon me in regards to being an alpha, because I would have to fight to be an alpha every single day. Especially if you believe that that structure exists within the wolf culture, which it does not. Alpha, beta, sigma, that does not exist amongst wolves. They don't live like that. That's already been proven. Okay. So I've just been able to break a lot of this down, and I've been hearing a lot of people's opinions about it, about this whole Sigma thing. But like I said, I'm beyond that. You know, I'm now just rocking the Enigma banner. And as you can see with my main avatar at this channel, it has a question mark. That's literally the symbol for Enigma. At first, it used to be the actual Greek Sigma symbol for Enigma, but now Sigma is just Sigma in regards to the Greek symbols and all that stuff, and even what a lot of people who call themselves Sigma have accepted. So the Enigma, for all those who relate to me, those who were born this way versus made this way, call yourself an Enigma going forward instead of a Sigma. You don't rock the Sigma letter. You rock the question mark, the Enigma, the fact that they cannot figure you out, the fact that you've been misunderstood. You rock the Enigma. Riddle me this, riddle me that. That's what you rock. Okay. So so that question mark means a whole lot to me, a lot more than ever before at this time. Because that's literally how I represent myself as someone that's definitely been misunderstood. I've never tried to be mysterious. I've just always been misunderstood. Now, some people might say my ways are sort of mysterious, I guess. Well, it's not that I try to be that way. I guess that's just part of who I am, right? So keep that in mind. And I think that'll help you get through this identity crisis for those who came online and you read up information and you stumbled upon this idea of being a Sigma, especially amongst all those people who claim they were Alpha. And amongst the Alphas, there's Betas, but you didn't feel that way. You knew you were something else, kind of like how I was able to break things down for the Omega males. And they have definitely resonated with those live streams. So I'm doing the same thing with the Sigma live stream. And obviously, I'm not bashing those who believe they became Sigmas. And I don't say that you're feral in a bad way. No, because there's a difference between a feral and a stray. Okay. There's definitely a difference. And I believe no one that's Sigma is a stray. You're feral, but you're not a stray. So, in your own way, you became wild. You became wild. You weren't born wild, but you're still wild. Nothing wrong with that, right? But it's just a different way in how you're wild. So that's why there's that idea of just being fertile. You're just a different type of a wild. Just like Enigma is a different type of a solitary, not necessarily Sigma. It's beyond Sigma. Not to say it's greater than, it's just more or less different than. Because some people were born this way versus becoming this way. So yeah, I definitely now just say that I'm enigmatic. I believe that's me. And I've broken this down, especially with the feminine gender who have resonated to being an enigmatic woman versus a Sigma female. There are those two. You have the Sigma females and you also have the enigmatic women. Okay. And I've done pretty well. I'm actually working on some side projects with the Sigma female topic. And I'm working on some things with the enigmatic woman. Yeah, I'm working on some things with the enigmatic woman topic as well. So a lot of side projects I'm working on the side. But yeah, with that said, I guess the time one more thing in is just yeah, with this with there's always been this alpha side of me. Like I've never just been like, well, I'm Sigma male, so I can't be like an alpha male, like I can't do this and that. Well, I've always had that side of me, despite the fact that yes, you see the wolf on the avatar and you would think I would be a different way. No, I'm just a different type of a leader. Okay. I'm just different. There's still some alpha about me, but I don't call myself an alpha male. But I understand what alpha truly means. And I believe a lot of guys who call themselves alpha male, they're not as alpha as you think they are. And they're not as alpha as they claim they are. See, I understand this thing about alpha, but I believe there's a different way you go about being alpha. Feel me? And I believe the way that I go about it is on the highest level, which is being an enigma. Now, being a Sigma, it ain't about you necessarily trying to be an alpha for anybody. And you could care less about being an alpha for anybody. Even if you're put in a position to lead, you ain't gonna want to lead. You ain't gonna try to lead, or you're not gonna lead for long. You'll just lead them to a different direction. But you're not trying to lead them like how do they say this? Uh make your own destiny or something like that. You're not thinking like that. That's not the way a Sigma thinks. And I get that. I totally get that because when you're in a feral state, oh yeah, that's what I meant to say. Like you're in charge of your own destiny. You're not trying to determine that destiny for everybody else. You're in charge of your own destiny. That's all you're thinking about is, you know, how you're going to make it through that day, how you're going to make it through that month, that life, that minute. That's it. Now, if there's people that benefit to you making it through those times, that's cool too. But it's still all about you. Whereas me, I'm a little different. I still think about the people around me. You know what I'm saying? I still care about a lot of people. So there's still that alpha side of me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I still know what's best for me. And I know there's times when I need to make it about me. I need to get away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's telling you that at the same time, I'm not fully alpha. I'm just alpha sometimes. But there's still that hint there that there is something different. So that's why I say the enigma is just kind of like, if you want to look at it this way, the enigma is the best of both worlds, like of being with the people and not with the people. Now, you call it this. You can be an introvert and an extrovert, but actually that word is an ambivert. That's me. Definitely, yeah, that's definitely me. And that's actually the way a real wolf behaves. It behaves more like an ambivert. It doesn't behave like an extrovert. It doesn't really behave like an introvert. A wolf behaves like both. Okay. It behaves like both. There's no introvert alpha with a wolf. It's actually both, if you will, if that makes sense. It's introvert and it's alpha at times too. It's introvert and extrovert. That's what the ambivert is. And I'm definitely like that. You know what I'm saying? Another good animal that is like an ambivert is a gorilla. Gorillas are ambiverts. Okay. A good person that I could think of that's an ambivert is beast mode. Y'all know the running back from the Seattle Seahawks, the great infamous running back from the Seattle Seahawks. He was definitely beast mode to me, in my opinion. Like nobody was like him. Okay, Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He was an ambivert. He had his quiet times, but he had his times where he wanted to reach out to the people at the same time. If you really started to check out a lot more videos about Marshawn Lynch, you'll see exactly what I mean in regards to an ambivert. And so that represents the enigmatic individual versus the Sigma, who's more on the introvert side, and the Alpha, who's more on the extrovert side. Yeah, the Alpha is way more extrovert. Okay. But the ambivert is just that sweet spot. That's the enigma, the enigmatic person. You're the ambivert. So to me, that solves the problem of the Sigma male identity crisis, and I was able to solve that problem for myself, so that I wouldn't be tied down with believing that amongst those that were made Sigma, I have to still somewhat accept this idea that I was born Sigma. No. How about this? Sigma is made. Sigma is no longer classified as what you were born. But those who were born, you were actually beyond this idea of Sigma this whole time. And you just didn't know it. But I knew it. I just didn't have a word for it until now. And that word is enigma. But hopefully y'all like this live stream. And make sure y'all hit that damn like button, like Michael said. Okay? Especially those on the replay. Make sure that y'all subscribe if this is your first time at this channel. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you get my uploads in real time. Check out all of my playlists. I have a lot of them, especially those in regards to this topic of Sigma, as well as Lone Wolf, because I do not see Lone Wolf and Sigma as the same. Okay. But yeah, I've been really wanting to just kind of wrap this up. But I'm actually not done talking about this Sigma thing. I think I got maybe a couple of more things I could bring up in regards to Sigma. But they'll just be some quick uploads. They'll be kind of some bonus videos, because I did say at one point at this channel I would never mention Sigma ever again. But really, these live streams I've been doing is just kind of wrapping up something that I've been talking about for almost 2 years now. since I came into the discovery of what was beyond Sigma, which is Enigma. Okay. But yeah, I talk about a lot of different things. And I got at least another one coming up with actually I'll tell y'all right now. Stay tuned for the next Sigma live stream. I'm gonna be talking about that with my little brother. Yeah, y'all gonna like that one. It's either gonna be a live stream or it's gonna be an upload, but it'll be a decent uh length of an upload. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like over 10 to 15 minutes. So it'll be me and him definitely chopping it up because he brought up the idea of Sigma to me. Usually you get guys, they grew up and they quickly want to resonate to the idea of an alpha male because that's kind of what young guys grow up under the pressure to be. You got to be the alpha. You got to be the top dog. You know what I'm saying? You grow up like that. But see, like someone like my little brother, a little different. He didn't want to be the top dog. He saw himself as something else. He saw himself as more wolf than dog. Okay. But we will have to see how much that really applies to him based on what y'all know I've been talking about in regards to these wolves. Okay. I see a wolf as an enigma, not a sigma. Okay. But with that said though, yeah, we got that. Me and my little brother, we got that coming up. Basically, I believe there are more guys like him coming up in his generation that they don't really think the term alpha male really applies and that is even necessary, especially when you have to go about doing things differently in this type of society, whether based on the Me Too movement or just based on the trends. You know, you don't want to be the top dog. You don't want to be the one everybody trying to gun for all the time. You have to compete for the top spot. And, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go through all that. See, I know growing up for me, and I'll leave y'all with this. Two ways you were considered an alpha. Yeah, two ways you were considered an alpha. You either um amongst the chicks, you either had the beauty or you had the brawn. They cared less about the brain, you know, having the brain power. They either liked the man's beauty, so they saw him as a pretty boy, or they liked his brawn. Those two things is what a lot of chicks back in the day where I was coming up, that's what they consider alpha. But they left the brain part out of it. What happened to the brain? Okay. So that brings up this point about what I mean is beyond alpha, because you have a certain guy who could have a certain beauty, I guess, from their standpoint, and he has a certain brawn, and he also has a certain brain, a certain intellectual aspect about himself. But that's why I also brought up this idea of the omega male being different than what everybody else has brought up about omega male. You know, what he might not necessarily have the certain brute beauty or whatever they want to call that. See, beauty to me, actually, just to break that down to y'all, beauty is feminine and beautiful is masculine. A lot of people don't know that, right? But nevertheless, the omega male he might not have had those beaut attributes, and he might not have been a brute, but his brain was absolute. That's what was his strength, was his brain. That's what the omega male is truly about. Okay. And but yeah, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I just wanted to stop by for a little bit, chop it up with y'all, give y'all my final thoughts on the Sigma identity crisis. Um, and y'all see, for a long time I've been beyond the labels anyway. You know, I stopped rocking a lot of the labels. I believe when you're an enigma, that's not a label. That's someone describing you. Meaning when they say you're an enigma, you are misunderstood. You aren't that easy to figure out. Okay. Even when people claim they have figured you out, They can imitate you all day long, but you can never be duplicated. And even an imitation is just an imitation. It's just a knockoff. It's never like the real deal. So some people already know that there's people out here that have been trying to imitate me. Okay. I guess I must be that great that you got to imitate. You see? You can't hate because you imitate, but that just lets me know that I'm so great. You know what I'm saying? But that's the kind of world we live in. That's the kind of world we live in. That's what makes yours truly that much more of an enigma that some people even try to imitate. It's kind of like how people want to figure out the recipe to the Big Mac. And I didn't say that just because I've talked about Mac at this channel. That's not why I said Big Mac. But yeah, you got people that want to figure out the recipe to the Big Mac. You got people that want to give you the recipe to KFC's chicken. You got people that want to try to find a recipe for Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, you name it. They can imitate it, but they can never duplicate it. See what I'm saying? So I think that's the beauty of being an enigma when you're beyond the labels. You know, you really kind of get into your own vibe. And I say this because this has been my whole life. I've never could be duplicated. I've never could be defined. I never could be labeled. I was always my own entity. I was always my own entity. And I think that's a beautiful thing, like when you can kind of be whatever you want to be. You know, I've been around guys that call themselves alpha males. I've been around guys that even call themselves sigma males, but they saw me as something different than all of them because a lot of these guys, they kind of see things different than I do. So that lets me kind of look at myself like, well, maybe there's something different about me. Hey, what's good, Top? Glad you tapping in, fam, for sure. Just wrapping up the rest of this live stream, man. This ain't gonna be a long one, but yeah, this this hopefully kind of clears up a lot of what I've been trying to get out there in regards to my thoughts about the Sigma male and all that. I definitely know that I'm not purely an alpha male. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. But at the same time, I know that I'm not purely a Sigma male either. So I'll leave y'all with that. But I understand the ways of a Sigma. I understand the ways of the modern day Sigma per se, but I also understand others like Black Ram and even the top cast who believe they were born a certain way, not made a certain way, but they'll still keep the terminology of Sigma for themselves, even though they realize that, yes, there are also those who believe they became Sigma. But Black Ram, I know, and this is just only speaking on Black Ram's behalf, he just believed like, hey, you either Sigma or you're not. You only can be born Sigma. So he really is trying to like bring the point home that no, you can't be made Sigma. You can only be born Sigma. Yeah, you can only be born Sigma. You can't be made into one. Um, and then, like I said, you got others who accept the idea that there's people that are born Sigma and people who are made Sigma. And then you got me, whereas I'm like, okay, I accept them even taking on the idea of what Sigma is. But those who were born a certain way, I believe need to move beyond Sigma and just say you're an enigma. But yeah, with that said, for those listening to this on the replay, make sure y'all comment below. Make sure you check out all the info in the description section, especially if you want to tip yours truly. That's also there. No expectation, no obligation, just appreciation. But otherwise, much love to y'all. Until next time, thanks a million for stopping by, and I'll see y'all on the next one. I know this was a late night one, but hey, wolves come out at night, and it's a full moon still, right? I believe so. Ow.